some of the strategies that used to work 2, 3, 4 years ago to get clients, get leads, get book calls, so on and so forth, are no longer effective today. Obviously, there's other nuances that go into paid advertising and organic traffic and all that good stuff. But part of the reason why a lot of people, they come into this online space, a few months in, they can't make the business work, and then they leave, is because they don't have a brand. The power of your brand will eventually determine how long you end up staying in business. You have to build a brand. It's just my opinion. Some will tell you don't have to have a brand or anything like that. And it doesn't have to be your face. The brand could be your company. You have to have a brand, and your brand has to have a mission. An identity has to have attention of your ideal clients or your ideal avatar. So that's what we're going to talk about today, building your brand in the online space so you can build whatever you're building for the long term. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good noise, and let's dive in. All right, so using your brand to stand out in any, quote unquote, saturated market, right? Especially if you're in the high ticket space, online coach, consultant, you're trying to build a marketing or even sales agency or anything like that. There's a invisible hand at play, and that's your brand. So first things first, you have to have an origin of your brand, right? The story behind your brand, which is your story, what the mission is, right? What are you trying to accomplish with this brand? So there's three things, and these three things work with each other, right? They help each other out. So what solutions are you providing? This is the what. The where, what is the vision of this company? Like, where is this company going in the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years, 15 years? Like, what is the vision of the company? And then the impact, the why behind you have this company. What are you trying to accomplish for your clients, for your partners, whoever it might be, the why, and that become your core values, right? Your mission and your vision, your impact, your solutions you provide, it becomes your core values. For example, Apple, right? Apple's core values, again, just one man's opinion, is simplicity, right? And the reason there's so many, even Android phones out there that technically have a lot more power, they have a lot more stuff they can do on these phones, but Apple has this level of simplicity that iPhone just cannot have. Me myself, I'm an Apple everything user, so that level of simplicity on the operating system is just unmatched, and that's what one of the core values I feel like Apple has. So you have to, as your brand, you have to develop your own core values. Next is identity, right? Brand identity. Again, focus on simplicity. Regardless, don't try to be too complicated. Don't try to do too much. And when I say simplicity, you cannot be someone who's working with, for example, let's say if you're an online coach, you can't work with fitness people, real estate people, sales people. You can't run. It doesn't help, right? Simplify it. Go down to one thing and one person that you're selling to, and that also helps you dial in your message a lot better, right? Once your message is dialed in to your audience, you have to figure out what your target audience is and what level of sophistication they're at. If they're sophisticated, your brand identity has to match that. It also has to be sophisticated. If your target audience is, let's say, playful or informal, for example, Lego, they have to match colors and building blocks to match their target audience, which is kids and parents, right? And then authority, if you're targeting C-level executives and business owners that are running 7-8-figure businesses, your brand has to come out authoritative to them, right? So depending on what your target audience is, your brand has to match that. And then last but not least, we've got the gold mine, attention. Obviously, content is king. If you're not out there doing content right now, it doesn't have to be your face. It could be your company, your brand, whatever it might be, but you should be 100% out there doing content. So first is the value you provide via content to your target audience. You have to be able to give away the how-to. Charge for implementation, give away the how-to. Look up Alex Hormozi for that one. And you have to give away some market insights. You have to, within your content, you have to give away stuff that only an authority figure within your industry or your vertical or your niche would know, right? Excuse me. Only something that someone who has experienced X level of growth or X level of success in that vertical, in that niche, would have, that insight that person would have, because they actually went through that trial and error period. And then you have to give them actionable steps, right? When I say actionable steps, not, you should do this, you should do that. Actual steps where if one of your audience members actually took those steps, they went from point A to point B on their own without actually getting your hands-on help, right? So we're giving away the how to, obviously charge for implementation. And then the other side of content is storytelling, right? The goal of storytelling is to be relatable. That is it. There's nothing else. All you do with storytelling is just be relatable with half your content. So you do this with testimonials. John in this industry got to XYZ point, right? And now everyone else who's in John's industry can relate. Then you build a case study, which is just an in-depth testimonial. You see how that person, that John, went from point A to point B, step by step by step by step by step. Now, everyone in your audience, ideally, if you're in the same audience, same niche, and your content is one direction, they can relate to John. They can relate to John's story, right? They can relate to John's case study. They can see themselves, okay, I'm in this part of the journey that John was in. And then you have your own personal experiences. Again, if you have authority in a certain industry, ideally you have some experience there. Otherwise, you you're just hot air, right? You have experience in there. And then your personal experience, your audience should be able to relate to, because who they want to be was who you are now. And who your target audience should be is who you were before you got to the level you're at now. So on and so forth. It all comes down to relatability. Now, I know if you're in the high ticket space or online coach or consultant or anything like that, you need to be putting more content out there on your brand. You need to be building out your brand to stand out in this market. Anybody can run paid ads. Anybody can do some of the basic stuff that, people are charging people to do. It's, you have to think long term, the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, what's going to happen, right? If you don't have a brand, you're not going to be around that long. Me, I'm going to continue building my brand. If 2030 I have to sell something else, I know my audience is there because I have the brand. It's not the product that has the brand. It's not the service that has the brand. It is you. And it's almost like this invisible hand. Even when you're running ads, if you have a brand and you have people that occasionally click on your stuff, you can use it for retargeting and stuff too. But just having a brand, it's that organic invisible hand that's helping you out, right? You might not be able to quantify it like on paper that brand is helping you or content is helping you or anything like that. But I promise you, if you have a brand and your numbers are high chances are going to be lower than most people as far as lead cost, CPL, CTR, all that stuff. It's going to be lower. You won't know why. You're just probably going to think this is your marketing working and your VSL is amazing, your ads are great. But part of that is your brand. Your brand is helping you stand out. All right, that's it for this one. Hope you got some sauce out of this, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.